Danielle.
Casey.
Wow. What a week.
It has been a week.
I mean, what a week. We've hit the highest highs.
We did. We did New York on Broadway, off Broadway, really.
Broadway adjacent. We were on 42nd Street.
Which Laura Benanti said, you know, I've performed across from this theater and never knew of this theater.
And it's a very large theater, but I think people on Broadway just refuse to look at it.
Yeah, as you said, it was known as a lesser-known venue for lesser-known performers.
That is what it said on the Wikipedia page.
So
it
happy.
was so fun. Thank you to everyone that came to both our shows.
Yes, and then we did...
The unimaginable.
The unimaginable. We did Watch What Happens Live this week, and it was...
Everything. April was the bartender.
And on Easter week, it felt appropriate. You know, like... The Lord has risen.
Yes.
We have come home to Andy Cohen.
We touched down on ground zero.
Andy Cohen.
Amen.
Our Lord and Savior.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yet, Danielle, that was not the highest
No,
high.
it sure is not.
We kept climbing.
We have. I can't believe we're higher.
There were some lows also when I was crying on the airplane, but we'll move on.
What?
Yeah.
When did you cry?
I always do. But we are sitting in front of a guest. We have a guest tonight. Oh, sweet Jesus, do we have a guest?
Mm-hmm. Now, in the past, we have admittedly played in our sandbox of garbage, both in content and in guests. I'll do to our dear friends who have come on, but they are garbage.
And tonight, for the first time in history, instead of going low, we will be going high. Please welcome the author of Bad Feminist, Difficult Women, among others, and most recently, the painful yet deeply healing memoir, Hunger. She's a professor, editor, PhD, and contributing writer for the New York Times.
Perhaps you've heard of the Old Gray Lady.
I have not. Her writing covers themes of feminism, body image, pop culture, power structures, race, sexual violence, and gender relations. But perhaps all else, she is a huge Housewives fan.
Please welcome Roxane Gay.
Oh my gosh. Thanks.
Wow.
It's so great to be here.
Well, we came to you.
That's true.
So great to be
That's
at
true.
your apartment.
Yes, you do. I'm home for 4 blessed days, and so I just could not bear the thought of leaving my house today.
No,
I can't believe you've let us bombard you here.
I have. I mean,
and we do not know you. We do now.
no, we're. I feel like we're going to be very good friends.
We are.
I
and
feel a
we are-
kinship.
I
we are
do.
fans of your work. We
Well,
have
thank
and
you.
have been
read so
for many
much of it.
years.
Yes.
I'm a fan of Real Housewives and people who talk about Real Housewives. So,
you're a fan of our work.
I am a fan of your work.
You will
this
be by
is
the
like a
end.
great moment. I can't wait to share this on Twitter and just brag. Guys, guess what I did?
Roxane, would you say this is in your top 2 moments of accomplishments?
I would say top 1.
Oh, wow.
Let's not even get into 2. Let's not waste our time with any of that.
No, let's go right to the top.
Let's absolutely.
That just-
Oh my God, let's look at that woman right there in the heels and the designer baby carriage.
We have a window to the world here. We're in.
She just had a baby, but you wouldn't know it
No,
unless
you
she was
wouldn't.
pushing that. Sorry, it's just, life
Roxane,
is a tableau.
I've recently had a baby, and I think I've lied to people about how young my baby is.
how
sometimes.
young is your baby?
Well, he's 7 months.
Oh, that's young.
Yeah,
That's
that is
young.
young. Because I
Oh, I
just
thought
feel
you were
like
gonna say, like, he's
so
14.
tired and crazed. Sometimes I'm like, he's 2 months based on what people are presented with when they see me.
My baby is 4.5 years, and I'm like, oh, I got a baby at home. People's like, that's a full-fledged child. Like, that's almost an adult.
He's walking and talking, isn't he?
Oh,
Or
yeah,
she?
they're in school most of the day.
God
I
damn.
never see you with your child.
No.
Now,
Unclear if I have one.
Roxane, your work has made...
Speaking of children, though, Dorit doesn't raise her children.
No,
we
no,
could
no,
get
no.
into that later.
Oh, we
Roxane, how
will.
dare you? We need to
And
get
I
into
don't
that.
judge that at all. It's
Oh,
just so
please.
funny because she's always like, I'm just so busy. I don't know how I'm going to fit all this in. I'm going to Berlin.
When she said, I'm so busy, the look on that guy's face that's like producing the line and doing all the
Yeah,
work,
all the
he
work.
was like, he looked staggered, like he was
He really
shocked.
did. Like, is this bitch saying what the fuck I think she's saying?
And as there's women like in the sweatshop next door to them, like sewing tiny bathing suit bottoms, like, you're busy, bitch.
Like,
My
really?
fucking fingers are sore.
Really?
I feel like someone gave her those sketches and she's just like outlining them with a pencil every time they put the camera on it.
Absolutely. Like, why is she pretending she's designing it? And when she was like, yeah, we need to cut it a little lower, and the 3 people on the couch were like, you don't get to make those kinds of decisions.
No.
It was great.
All she did was basically like demean the woman in the bathing suit in front of her and then walk
Yes.
out. And then was like, I can't do anymore.
She basically insulted the woman's ass, like right there. And then the side boob, like her body is flawless. What are we talking? I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
mean
then
to
what kind of
segue
bathing
quickly
suit
into
are
Dorit,
you-
But she's still on my mind.
Well, Dorit is always where all of our minds are. All I
could
was
it
just
not
going to
be?
say, Roxane, is despite all, I will say, your work is so inspiring. It's pierced my soul. But perhaps never more than when you tweeted, why don't Big and Carrie have a king-size bed in Sex and the City too? Sometimes movies make me so mad.
Yep, that's an important question.
Right?
Huge.
Unlike many people, I actually love Sex in the City.
Oh, I love. Are you
So do
kidding?
we.
So
Because
do
I
we.
recognize it for what it is. I mean, I can critique it and write a fancy essay, but I enjoy it. It's just so satisfying. And I even like the movies, even though the second movie has a lot of
Oh,
problems.
had many flaws.
But the
Second one
biggest
was
problem
tough.
is the bed. Like, they're sitting there and
The
Carrie...
big, I'm putting in quotes. that's
Yes,
the problem.
Carrie's like, oh, I hate that there's a TV in our bedroom, which, first of all, girl, what? Save your life.
That's all
save
my
your
husband and
life.
I do is watch TV in bed.
I'm sorry, if there's no bed in the bedroom, I don't know where we're sleeping, but it's not in there. And so it's just very perplexing that this is a thing. And the bed is so small and they're just acting like it's normal and fine. And Big is a large man, not fat, just he's tall.
He's
He
very
takes up
tall.
Space.
His name Big.
I mean,
What are
we have to,
doing?
we
Not
have
for
to assume
nothing.
that extends to all parts of Big. Of
course.
And I think he needs, we can help. He needs a king size bed.
Yes.
And here they are in this
Her
gorgeous
closet was bigger than
apartment.
that bed.
Yes. And they're just in this little bed. It's just upsetting. It's just upsetting.
It
And
is upsetting.
People on Twitter kept saying, oh, it's a New York apartment. No, they're rich. I'm sorry, but they're not in your little studio apartment with 5 roommates.
Their apartment's bigger than my home in
Yeah.
Beverly Hills.
I
Well, I
mean-
don't live in Beverly Hills. I don't
I
know.
know,
I
it's like,
said
where
Are
that.
you
Homes
Beverly
do.
Hills adjacent?
Los Feliz. Yes.
Okay.
I'm in the heart of Beverly Hills.
I'm also Beverly Hills adjacent. Studio City.
Yeah. Oh, that's very adjacent.
Very adjacent.
That's adjacent.
Very.
Adjacent.
The valley is.
What do you
very
make,
adjacent.
Roxane? I'm just curious about, have you been following, as I have been breathlessly, this kind of altercation that's happened online between Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker?
It's divine. I can't get enough of it because
I need
Sarah
more.
Jessica Parker keeps trying to like take the high road and
Yeah.
be like the saint. And Kim Cattrall is like, bitch, no, we're not
No.
friends. We were never friends. Don't you put my brother's name in your mouth. Oh, I just can't wait. And
And do
that's
you-
actually why there's not going to be a third movie.
Yeah. Do you
Because
think?
I know the rest of them would do it.
Do you think this is why Cynthia Nixon is running for governor of New York?
Absolutely.
To defend her friend.
Absolutely. I mean, why else would she be running for governor?
Exactly.
Miranda's got to run, and I hope she wins.
As you said, Miranda, of course,
That's
Miranda
the
would
most
run.
boring of characters. that
Yes, I mean, who else would run? Kim Cattrall can't run. She's had
No.
too much sex. And Carrie can't run because she's Carrie, and the other one.
And we'll
who's-
see Steve as Steve, her husband.
Yeah.
Steve.
Meet me on the bridge, Miranda. And I really don't mean to be base, but something about him, and this is not his exterior, it turns my stomach. And they had a lot of sex scenes between the two of them.
They did.
on that show.
HBO was committed to that.
Committed to
They
the
were
two
just
of
like,
them.
we're going to show an alternative lifestyle.
and alternative angles.
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Someone
yeah,
that
yeah.
finds this couple attractive.
Yes, and
And us-
you will watch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were daring us to
I
watch
mean,
like
I actually like Steve as a character until he speaks.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
It is it's the voice. His aesthetic. It's like not my type per se, but
No, thank you.
but I am into Big.
Oh, of course.
The aloofness, the emotional unavailability,
Ooh, yeah.
the wealth.
Oof.
I mean, panties down.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Of course. I mean,
Let's
big.
be
That's-
honest.
Yeah.
He comes and he picks her up and he just reaches over and opens the car door.
Yeah.
Come on in, lady. Get out of my bed when we're done.
Remember when she was with Baryshnikov?
That was a
Yes,
strange.
when
That
she
was
went
a
to
stretch.
Paris. Like she was
Strange.
gonna really go to Paris and leave her friends. Come on. But I enjoyed the last season.
Me
it was so
too.
good. It was like all wish fulfillment and wrapping up their storylines, and they were kind of growing up. And I liked that Samantha ended up with the hottie, and it was just all I was into it.
It felt good. And I liked Kristen Davis's husband
Yes,
at the end.
Yes.
He and I are Twitter friends.
Are you?
We are
Really?
Yes, he tweets at me like 3
my
or 4 times a
God!
week. It's hilarious.
I love him.
Yes, Evan Handler.
He's wonderful.
And
I was very
My
attracted.
claim to fame is like, oh yes, Evan Handler is my Twitter friend.
I was
It's-
attracted
I
to
take
him
it
on that
seriously.
I'm
show.
attracted to him as well.
Because he's such a mensch.
Yes.
I love a
I
Jewish
just wanted
man.
to rub his head. What's not to love?
Well,
My
that's-
first boyfriend was Jewish.
Thank you, Roxane.
And that it imprinted on me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Imprinted on.
It did.
We
I
Jew-
enjoyed
we
dating a
Jews do
Jewish
that.
man.
We Jews do that. We imprint.
Yes, you do.
For better or worse.
My 2 types of men are Jewish men and libertarians separately.
A libertarian.
Yes.
Really? Why?
I went to high school in New Hampshire.
Oh yeah. That'll
Live
do
free or
it.
die.
So you've got a streak there.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I've dated so many libertarians. It's bad. It's bad. I'm
Now,
out
does
of
wealth
that.
come into
I'm out
that
of
picture?
No.
Didn't think the twain would meet.
No, the two don't meet. I mean, generally they make good money, just like sufficient, which is sufficient. That's fine because I also have a job. But There's something about their whole, like, let's just do it on our own, independence, but we're going to drive on municipal roads and drink
Thank you.
water
I have
from
always
the
had that
faucet.
question.
Like, it's just the disconnect, like, as they're like, let me go get a glass of water.
How do you think that water got there, bitch?
It doesn't just show up.
No.
And so that they can believe their nonsense and not want to pay taxes, but benefit from all of the bounty that comes from taxes. It's very erotic.
Okay, now speaking of non-wish fulfillment, I'm curious, are you watching and do you watch Vanderpump Rules?
Oh, of course. Oh my God. I have to show you a picture.
Ooh,
Since
what's
we're
this going
bringing
to
this
be?
up. Yesterday, I was on 3rd Avenue getting lunch at Jones on 3rd. I was picking it up.
I like the way you said 3rd Avenue like you were in New York. I was like,
No, this 3rd Avenue. And I saw it.
Oh.
And it's
Vanderpump
real.
Dogs.
And it was crowded. I didn't know it was real.
Crowded?
I just thought it
Crowded
was
full
for
of
the
dogs?
show. No, full of humans.
Full of people?
I suppose there
Are
were
they
dogs, but I'm not a
buying
dog person,
dogs?
so I didn't go in. I don't know what they were doing, but I made the driver stop. I just yelled, "Stop!" And so he slammed on the brakes and pulled over. And he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "It's Vanderpump Dogs."
Like, it's a Vandermergency.
It is. I love Vanderpump Rules. If I had to have a #1 show, that's my #1 show.
Really? And now are you a fan since the beginning?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
What do you love? Who do you love on it? Just take us through it all.
Well, what I love is that they're all deeply unlikable and irredeemable people. That's just fascinating. And that the show sustains itself about being about nothing. It's the Seinfeld of reality television.
Wow.
Deep.
Right, I know.
know-
I brought my A game today.
Oh, you
really
sure did.
Because we at first did not like Vanderpump because we tried to relate
It's a slow
to them.
burn for some people.
Well, we tried to relate to them.
Oh, no.
And then a friend of ours, Kara Brown, who has been on the
Oh, she's a great
podcast.
writer.
Oh, she's
Great writer.
amazing.
And she
Fantastic.
had
I don't
an
know her, but I like
insight.
her very
She's
much.
great. And she said to us, she opened her eyes and she said, "You're not supposed to like them."
No, you're not.
And that
changed everything.
Changed it all, and now I love it.
And I thought, sometimes in reality, you're looking for a little wish fulfillment, not the shitty apartment I had 10 years ago.
Right. And that's the thing, that they haven't moved out of those shitty apartments.
No.
So what are they doing with the money they make?
Okay.
I know that they're not making great
Drinking
money,
it
but they're
all?
making
We
more
have
money
tried to
than
get to
we
the bottom
are.
of their salaries through every inroad
I
we
have
have.
Googled it extensively.
Someone told me, and I don't know if this is going to break hearts or what, that apparently they live elsewhere and they move into these shitty places to film, which I don't love that.
I believe that. They also don't really work at SUR anymore.
Except for Max. Her Lisa
We went
Vanderpump's
there
son
and Max was
there.
bussing. He was
He's
bussing. He wasn't even waiting.
And if there were no cameras on, he was just bussing.
Wow.
It's dark.
Because Lisa favors Pandy.
Yes, she does.
For sure. I mean,
yes, she does.
she gets the
No,
whole...
she did help him get an apartment. A
That
house.
one time.
That one time.
And that feels
Condo.
like the
And
least,
she's super rich.
that feels like the least she could do for him.
I mean, it's the very least.
Very least. Like Pandy gets the Vanderpump Sangria line.
Yeah.
And Max gets to bust
And
people's
Pandy was
right
over-
He also
plates.
bartends at some of her charity events.
Yes, we know. Remember that episode when they were like, "Max, come in," because Jax is one of
Yes.
And poor Max was there as a guest and then had to put on an apron. It was tough.
Yes, LVD actually treats Jax better than she treats Max.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is
Jax and Max.
Max.
There's something going on there.
There's a lot going on there. I think she loves him, but there's a disconnect emotionally. and
Oh,
I'm
I think
not
she
sure what
prefers
it is.
animals to people, for
Oh
sure.
my God. First of all, Pink Dog.
And now Pikachu.
Pikachu on life support?
Pikachu, I choose you.
Pikachu is dead.
Pikachu died.
Okay, guys, I forgot.
How could you forget, Casey? All right.
How could you? Lisa cried at least for 17 minutes of the episode about the dog. And then poor Dorit, not poor Dorit, but Dorit kept talking about it. And
I
Lisa
know.
was like, please stop talking about it. And Dorit was just going on and on. Dorit has never met in a sentence she doesn't love. She is just like,
I loved-
I have a lot to say.
2 episodes ago with Lois when they were out to lunch and Dorit didn't shut the fuck up.
And poor Lois was just trying to be like Midwest nice and just like, what's
She's like trying to
happening?
accept that duster Lisa
Yeah.
gave her with a smile.
Sad little duster that
And they always go to these weird sort of off-brand restaurants and never eat, but they drink a lot of water. And so I hope that production just collectively tips the wait staff because to have to wait on those women, oh, I wouldn't. I just quit. If they came into a restaurant where I was working, I would just take off my little apron and say good night. It was a good job.
It's been a good run.
Thank you. I'll do what I can from here.
Danielle and I's goal, and if anyone can facilitate this, has been to get an episode of Vanderpump Rules or Housewives. You know the table in the background where the people are just eating behind them and kind of like...
It's like watching at the Quiet Woman or wherever they are.
That's a good goal.
Right?
That's a very good goal. I read an article on Jezebel the other day about someone who went to 2 nights of James's little night.
Oh, see you next Tuesday?
Yes.
I'm aware.
I've met my people. Oh my God, this is so great. I don't have to explain anything.
No.
Starts
I
at 9
spend
p.m.
most of my time with someone who does not believe in reality television. And so it's just so
How
hard
can they
to
not
have to
believe? It's
explain.
not-
I'm
And when
sorry
I
for your
try to
loss.
explain what I watch, I sound like an insane person. And she's just like,
No, Roxane, you've come home.
Yes.
Okay, good.
You belong.
Good.
There's no
And
defending
so-
anything here.
I really want to be in and my friend Lisa also is into this, and Carolina. Like the 3 of us are very obsessed, and I've actually had a Vanderpump Rules viewing party here.
I heard I
I've
wasn't
had a
invited.
Vanderpump Rules viewing party here.
Well, I mean,
Space?
No, upstairs in my apartment.
Wow.
So that we could really just drink
as you should.
and appropriately comment
And be
on
with
the show.
Ariana.
Yes, and just
Be with the gang.
Oh my God, Ariana and Tom aren't having sex, and I don't know why because they're both attractive
Well, she's
to each other
Yeah.
and to others.
Well, her vaginal issues.
Oh, I forgot.
She has vaginal issues, and he is manscaping.
But her vaginal
Too much
issues-
time manscaping.
Yeah.
Seem to have cropped up later in the relationship.
Absolutely. And that's
Not
why
that
I
they
wonder,
can't lie dormant.
Are they phantom vaginal issues that are symptomatic of something else?
Phantom vaginal issues.
They
I don't
seem
know. It's just that I
they seem very real to her, and I want to just know when we're going to hear more stand up from her.
yes. And also the horseback riding thing. It's just, that's why the show is a text and it has so many layers.
It
So
is.
many.
There's just so much. It's these sort of adult children and then Jax, who's an adult grandparent.
Oh, he is.
And he's shameless.
Oh, yeah.
He's shameless.
Bloated
Everyone else
pillhead.
is like 10 years younger, and he also has cocaine nose and alcohol cheeks.
Yes,
and
yes,
he
yes.
keeps
And
going
pill
on
lips.
the show and thinking that his act is cute. And I don't think he realizes that it's no longer people laughing with him.
No,
like
no,
5
no.
seasons
Yeah.
ago, it's like laughing at him.
Well, at first I thought Jax was very attractive, and I was like, he's a star.
What
he is a
happened to
reality
you?
star. And then something happened where I was like, oh no, it's sad. Like at one point it turned, and now it's just sad to watch him fumble. Like he's not even getting a tom-tom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there is no Jax to be seen.
There isn't, because everyone knows, like,
No, don't trust him.
And why is Brittany with him? Like, what
This is
issues
the
does
eternal
she
question.
have? Because she's an attractive young woman. Though I've heard, no, I can't share that rumor.
Go ahead. You're safe here. And I don't know if you know our philosophy. There's 0 tagging. So we have been doing this podcast for 2 years.
2 years.
We have hundreds of thousands of listeners, truly. Not one person has tagged a housewife because we want to talk about them behind their backs as God intended.
Like, exactly. I was just tweeting about this the other day. Like, people tag me in their insults. I don't need to know.
Well,
Be normal. Gossip
Exactly.
without me
I
being
always
we
there.
say-
wrote down that quote
We
for
wrote
you,
down that
and that's
quote
our
because
philosophy.
that is
It's amen.
Say whatever you
So,
want. I don't need to be in it.
I don't know. I think Brittany might be bisexual or queer.
Really?
Yes. I feel that way. I don't know. She just gives me a volleyball vibe.
Wow.
And that's a compliment.
No, I take that as one.
And I just think Jax is just like a good placeholder. Like, I haven't met the right woman, and so this fucking lug will do. I don't know.
And
I
Jax is
think about it a
very
lot.
derogatory towards her.
He
so
treats her
mean.
so
So
poorly.
terribly. But even
And she has
he's
a
always like,
mother.
she's lying
Like,
around.
so what's her issue?
He literally said to her face, I'm going to Tampa because there's nothing here. You being the nothing,
Yes.
basically.
He's like,
He
I don't
treats
see
her
anything
like
for
crap
me.
week in and week out. And then he's like, please don't leave me. And then there was one episode where he's like, I think I might start going by Jason. That's my real name. And I was like, this isn't like Clark Kent and the glasses. We're still going to see you if we call you Jason.
Yeah.
That's not what's going to
And she's
fix
like,
you.
I've never heard anyone call you Jason.
Yes.
He's like, I'm
Oh my
obviously
God.
Jason.
You just channeled her perfectly.
I feel her very deeply. I think she's a great person.
I do too.
But
Good
she's
job.
why can I ask you this?
Yes.
Because I like her. I think she's terrific. they treat her as if she is an angel sent from heaven.
Yes.
She's a nice gal. Why does everybody treat her as if like no one talk about Britney? Britney's an angel. Like
because they've been in LA so long and they're so used to like Hollywood people. I think it's because they just view her as like this naive, precious little Kentucky angel, and they're like, let's just preserve her as long as we can.
Wow.
but she's already gone.
Yeah, I know, because she continues going back on the show.
She's gone. She's
and also
done.
she's had Jack's penis. And so that's an infection that one cannot. There's no cure for it. Penicillin is not going to fix that.
I feel like, and he's doing that terrible thing where my husband pointed this out, like he cheated on her like 2 weeks ago and she's like, it just feels like she kind of wants to bring it up. And he's like, I'm done. Ugh, we talked about that enough.
I explained it. And then
he's like, I can't do this anymore.
It was only once. And then there's like visual evidence that it was an ongoing horrible thing.
And then he comes back at her, but you sleep all day.
Yeah.
He's like, how is that
as
the
if
same
that's commensurate.
thing?
And like in the aftermath of his cheating, the way that dribs and drabs of it kept coming out, I think that's worse. Like, give me all of the bad news of whatever you did at once. I will probably forgive you. But when you trickle that shit out and I have to be re-hurt every time.
Hearing the voicemail, then hearing that a woman was in a coma or something near the
that was
bad.
tough.
It's all...
See, I feel like there's not enough emphasis placed on that detail.
Yeah. And that's what's so great about the show. Like, it's literally about nothing, but we could literally sit here until midnight and really just pick apart the nuances of the show.
Because this season has been explosive.
Oh, yeah. And last season. Also, the season, I think it was the season before last, where Lisa Vanderpump wasn't going to marry Katie and Tom because she was like, no, you guys aren't ready. Your relationship is very, very bad. You need to go fix it.
Can you illuminate their relationship to me?
I don't know what that's about. They don't seem to like each other.
Does it have to do with the scar?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's mutual self-loathing. I don't know what keeps them together. Because she's so controlling and mean to him, and he's so dispassionate in many ways, and just sort of like, I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna keep drinking, and Katie's not gonna tell me what to do.
When I see him, I think
bad.
of a tissue, like that just is full of mucus.
I was gonna say a used tissue.
like a used, like he's.
I think of that plastic bag in Forrest Gump.
Yeah. I think of Katy Perry.
All of those things are true about him.
Cheated on her this episode, right? He kissed someone else, and she was like, "This is the best year we've ever had."
Yes. Well, I think so many of the young women on this show are so desperate to be married or to be permanently attached that they're willing to tolerate anything. Let's get into Sheena.
Sheena Marie Shea.
It's all happening.
Sheena Marie Shea has... The thing is, there's an honesty to Sheena Marie Shea. She just wants to be famous and thin, which is the same thing.
And married to someone rich.
Yes. And so she left the other one, Shay Shay?
I do believe his name is Shay Shay.
Is it Shay Shay? Shay Shay.
So.
And I mean, you knew exactly who I meant.
I know who you mean, and now that's all I'm going to call him. So
he
it
had
doesn't
the
matter
little-
what
His first name and last name was
Yes, he had the little pill problem, and he was a
Yes.
very bad husband. But she should have never married him in the first place, but she did. And then she divorced him. And now she's with a guy who doesn't like her and who's probably cheating on her.
Yes.
But she's glomming anyway, as in like, we're going to be married in 3 weeks. And he's like...
And he's like, and his claim to fame is that he's supermodel Amber Valletta's brother.
I didn't know that till
That's
of course
depth.
was in a
Again, like there are
wormhole with
layers.
him.
Yes.
There are always layers. And they're all sort of like Z-list,
Yeah.
but trying to get to like X-list. It's cute.
And I've heard the story about him putting up a TV in 7 minutes, like a bunch of times at this point. It feels like get some new material.
It's actually a little heartbreaking in a level. It's truly, if you wrote a sketch about it, it would be like, that's too cloying. No one would act like that. I'd like to see Bravo run us together, just a real cut of just her trying every single time in his facial expressions.
Yes, because I also wonder, does she watch the show back
She must. I
and
can't believe
see
she does
how he
anything.
responds to her? Because there's something profoundly sad and perhaps a bit unhealthy about her and her relationship to him. She's trying to force a connection where there is none. And
She's jumped them a million steps ahead.
Absolutely. There was one episode this season where she was like, "Oh yes, he's so unmemorable. I can't even remember his name." And she's like, "Oh yeah, we're doing so well." And Lisa was just like, "You just got divorced, girl. What's up?" And it's fascinating. And she's always like manifesting drama where there is none, like Dorit. She and Dorit are very similar.
Yes, they are, Roxane.
They
They're
are.
so distasteful.
It's very distasteful.
I would
That's the
argue that
good
Dorit,
word.
and I know I'm not a
Danielle,
Dorit
let's
lover,
not
and
do
I'm
this.
sorry.
Danielle,
I'm
you're better than
sorry.
this.
Danielle.
You're a mother,
Roxane, I know
Danielle.
you're just
Love
meeting
yourself.
me. I know you're just meeting me, and I promise you, I'm a better person than I may be coming off because I have love for Dorit right now, and it's new.
Okay, where
And
does
so
this
it's
love
delicate.
come from? What about, the Hermes dishes? Oh, it's just like
Look,
$17,000.
look, she's an asshole.
I
and
didn't even know Hermes made dishes,
Either
but
did
now I
I.
need them because they were gorgeous.
Of course, now I want them.
Of course we need them.
Every time I
That's
go
not
by the
point.
Hermes store, I'm just like, maybe I could buy a quarter of a coffee dish.
And then I saw that Hermes blanket casually draped in Kyle's house, and I was like, God damn it. Gotta get it.
I need
Oh,
that
can you believe
too.
Kyle's finally moving?
Well, she's moved.
Okay,
Roxane.
sorry. Well, let's get to your Dorit love. There's a
Okay.
lot for us to unpack, and we'll get to all of it. But
Okay,
let's
but
start with-
here's my Dorit love. And it's two moments. I'm going to tell you about both of them. One of them is when Erica Jane snapped at Teddy. And I was on Erica Jane's side. And I'm one of few because I think everybody was kind of on Teddy's side. I'm not a Teddy lover. I've made that
neither
clear.
am I. Mm-mm.
But when Teddy was sad, Dorit, who was fighting with her before that, when she saw how sad she was, when she saw that moment of Teddy being low, she took her by the shoulder and was like, "You make me so mad, Teddy bear." And I was like,
She did
at a
run
low
after her.
moment, she took her. And you even said it. There's a quote that you have that I thought best talked about this moment. I really love my friendships with other women, and I have found so much solace and joy and debauchery with other women. And so I definitely wanted to put that into the book that, for me at least, the way I see the world, that women are very good to other women most of the time. And now I know there are so many popular narratives and many people have had bad experiences with other women, like competitiveness and so on and whatever. But I also think that women, when it's necessary, can come together and will come together and support each other because I think we know things about what it's like to be a woman in the world, and that common bond really is a strength.
Except for Dorit. That's the opposite of Dorit.
When you wrote that, had you met Dorit?
You wrote that.
No, I wrote that years before Dorit entered my
It's
consciousness.
in your
You
book.
should
Difficult
update
women.
the book, when a new edition comes out and just write pre-Dorit.
Absolutely.
But I guess what I take from that is like, even when we are at odds, even when there is problem, when you see someone that looks in need, I do feel that women are sensitive to that and see a
Yes.
moment and say,
You're
hey,
hanging a lot on this one.
Bless your
moment.
heart. It's such a reach that I don't know how your poor little arms can handle that. It's too much. Come on. In the preview for next week's episode, Dorit was starting some shit about when we were blah, blah, blah. I was really feeling hurt. Like she just keeps manifesting shit from way back and then acting like that's normal. Dorit is the devil.
Okay.
There's no redemption for her. But
Oh,
I admire you for trying.
I 100% agree with you. Now,
I also like her hair, and I like to look at all the different things she does.
Do you
with
like
it.
when she does the sort of Queen of the Night dark kohl in her
Yes.
eyes and then slicks her hair back and it
No,
looks a
I don't like
little
the
dirty?
slick back hair with her. I like it more when she does either kind of like the Rita Hayworth thing. I mean, she gives me something to look at. She's always playing with hair and wigs. I'm interested.
the one thing I will say is
But
I
so
don't
is
think
Erica
those
Jane.
looks
Oh,
are
right.
coming
Well,
from her
she-
soul. Those
What?
looks are not coming from her soul.
No, they're not. They're coming from a shallower thing, like
And
a
I
pool
hope
of water
maybe
on a
people will
sidewalk.
like this. Yeah.
They're coming from a Pinterest board, most likely. Yeah.
Now, what about PK?
Oh,
But did you turn around at all on the boat when he saw his parents?
did I?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Not
You
a
felt
bit.
nothing?
Mm-mm.
Not a bit.
No.
Even when he...
No.
When he cried.
I mean, no. I mean, every dog has his day. And I mean, it was a nice little moment. I don't dislike PK. I just,
Yeah.
I thought the thing with Erica Jane in the first season
Yeah.
that they were all together was very inappropriate.
Vile.
Agree.
And there's just no way. She's got a really rich, ancient husband. There's no way she's going to go get some younger man that she would then have to live with for extra years. Like, she's already put in her marriage
Yeah,
time.
she has.
And she and
She's
Tom,
running out the clock.
Yeah, she and Tom get along really well. I don't think she needs... Like, it's just so ludicrous that she would be interested in PK. And so it just was so distasteful that they took it that far. And wishful thinking. And so, and then he just sort of like got involved. Anytime one of the husbands gets involved in the women's squabbles, I just look down on him because you're not good enough to talk to women.
Agree.
And so just shh. Just shh.
Yeah.
Just go pretend to earn money. Their house, by the way, is on the market.
Yeah.
Their house is the worst
Being
house in
sold
all
by
the shows
the
ever.
agency.
Yes, because they can't afford it.
Really? Well, I hate that house. For some reason, that house
I have to take a
makes
moment
an
to
egg
collect myself.
To collect
Did you see what they did to the backyard with
Yes,
the
it
teak?
looks
Like,
terrible.
why? And it's on that weird hill. I mean, everything here is on a hill, but
No, but it's very poorly designed.
it's ugly.
That stairwell to get up that you could kill yourself on. I mean,
And they
that
have
is
children?
no,
You said it. Other than Eileen's house, it's the ugliest house I've seen on the franchise.
no. Eileen's house was
Yeah.
Remember
But
that
full of-
antique house
that's
of horrors?
soap opera
full
money.
of tchotchkes
Yeah.
and weird, like a dumb waiter that says like "Welcome to the house" with like a weird like it looked like a
That
grandmother's
wasn't good.
house.
I like LVP's house.
Yes, well that looks. I mean, that's a
I could-
menagerie of animals.
Yes.
and-
I could do
The
without
little
all the
horses.
sweeping shots of it, though. It's like we've seen it.
Yeah, we get it. She's
Yeah.
the richest one of all.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of Malouf, Adrienne Malouf.
she
She lived next door to Lisa.
all the
and
money in that tinsel hair. I just
mean,
couldn't believe
I-
that.
That's one of the things I wonder about very wealthy women. And it just shows that you can't outrun your past.
Mm-hmm.
You can try.
You can try.
Try so hard,
You
but you literally can't purchase your way out.
No.
Because so many of them just make such bad design and fashion choices, and nobody tells them because they're rich enough to get away with it. And people are just like, yeah, sure.
No, it's
That's a
true.
good hair color. It's
Now,
bad.
speaking of Beverly Hills, something came up this week, a name that I had never heard before, and now it's controversy, which is Nanny K. Do you ever remember hearing the fucking name Nanny K before?
Does Nanny K mean anything?
I was
to
in
you?
tears during the Nanny K part.
I was like, who is
because
this
Erica
bitch?
Jane remembered who Nanny K
I
was,
know.
and Kyle, who's known LVP forever, was just like, who?
And then Erica kind of went off on Kyle in the
Yeah.
testimonial. She's like, if you listen, you'll know Nanny K. And it's like, all right, Erica.
Oh yeah, Erica
Oh,
gets her
yeah.
little jabs in.
Ooh.
Erica's testimonials are very, very interesting.
Piercing.
Again, more text. And then she's always doing some interesting avant-garde looks.
Yeah.
The ponytail one.
The Queen of the Night.
Oh, like just she's serving looks. And it's just very interesting. But yeah, that was some subtle but not subtle shade when she was saying that about Kyle. And then Kyle was basically so unapologetic, like, yeah, no, I don't remember your grandmother's name. And I think LVP made a thing about it because she's still sensitive about Pink Dog and
Oh,
Pikachu.
she is.
I can't even say
I'm like,
Pink
all
Dog.
these people, like,
And
there's
then they
Pink-
flashed to Snooki or Schnookums, who's
and Giggy. Like
Yeah.
we were starting to see the ages of like the producers on this show are hilarious. They started to show the ages of all the dogs to sort of give us a timetable.
I know, it's like the clock is
Like,
ticking on
brace us.
all these little
There may be some
motherfuckers.
more deaths this season.
brace ourselves. Like, get
But
a
there
little
were animals
processing.
that I'd never seen before. That they're all of a sudden these are recurring players. I haven't
Yes,
seen
and
any
I
of
didn't
these.
realize that Pink Dog was named Pink Dog because I would have had some opinions about that
Because
before
we
this.
never knew Pink Dog, and now we're supposed to take it on and
I
mourn.
saw Pink Dog before because it was pink, and so I remembered that. But
But in passing, it's not like it's Jiggy.
correct.
No, Jiggy.
Yes, we know Jiggy.
And when they tried to show the nice shot of Pink Dog, like the RIP, it was just him like scuttling around in the background. It was kind of blurry.
Yes.
I was like, they didn't have a lot.
And why do Ken and Lisa take their dogs everywhere?
Unclear.
Oh, can we talk about the movie premiere for the Los Angeles Awareness Film?
Smattering
Yes.
of audience, not a
I was
full
surprised.
house.
So they do have actually a lot of premieres at that Regal, but it was just really funny to see how empty the audience was, and the poor cameraman kept trying not to go like above the fourth row, so we wouldn't see this
It's like
vast
when
empty space.
Pregnant actresses put tape on their bellies because they don't want people to know they're pregnant. So if the camera dips, it's like can't use it, and
Yep.
that's what that cameraman was trying to do.
Oh yeah, for sure,
And I think the movie, there, of course, these atrocities need to be seen, but I feel like this was inexperienced filmmakers who were just like, throw it all up there.
Absolutely.
People looked stricken.
Horror.
They did,
Horrified.
and the way everyone was just crying, and you'll notice in every season, there's always a moment where they try to show that these are humans and that are capable of empathy.
Oh, yeah, and emotion.
And they go to an extreme. It's always like a domestic abuse charity gala where everyone's dressed up, and one of the women goes and shares a sad and necessary story. I do think these stories are important. And then all of the women like have this moment, this very brief moment of humanity where they're like, yes, this is sad.
It was like when
This-
Kenya
this
produced
isn't-
that video.
Yes.
And they were all like in white
exactly.
tees.
Exactly.
And then Sheree walks in and she's still like, she got in a car accident. But she's still like,
The moments don't last long.
I know, no, because
they
everyone
don't.
was like all about this.
They
And
don't.
Sheree's like, my neck. And then everyone was like,
That
oh,
was tough timing.
Sheree.
Oh my God, I'm going to hell.
It was tough timing.
It was very sad.
Let me say, I love Sheree. Sheree is one of my favorite
She by
people.
Sheree.
She by Sheree.
You
Chateau
stood by-
Sheree.
You stood by Sheree.
Can
I
you believe
stood
they
by
were
Sheree.
still discussing Chateau Sheree in the... I read about it. I mean, I read the recap, even though I haven't seen it yet. Of the most recent reunion. Like, oh my God. And then Sheree was talking so much shit for a woman who does not know when her incarcerated man is getting out
It's
of jail.
insane how she can
Like,
be so...
I'm going to make him a man cave. I mean, for like 2040? Like, what?
It's unclear. And she's already planning their destination wedding.
Yes, but he can't get a passport because he's a
No.
convict.
Well, and
So,
every time
like,
they
what's
share-
the destination?
Every time they share any moment, like in the preview for the next one, he's like, listen, I think I want to be with you forever. And it's like, your call is up. Every time. And, she's
And
like,
also, I think, like, you're not sure, brother. You're in, like, your options are limited.
But I also felt like, she doesn't get to talk to him a lot. I assume he's in prison. Their time is limited. And then she was like, well, we had shrimp for dinner. Like when she was going through what
she went through all her seafood,
night,
and it was like, your
and I was
call
like-
is done.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe we want to talk about more important things that have happened.
It's just heartbreaking. I mean, I'm happy for her and that she's found love, but they've not spent a single moment together in face space. And
But
so,
Sheree is so guarded.
I'm just
Part of me
curious.
thinks this is the right step for her.
yes, I mean, she's been through it with Bob.
Exactly.
And
Post Bob.
with last season and the sort of attempt at reconciliation, which I thought was a bizarre storyline. And I thought it sent a dangerous message to women, like, take back the abusive fuck that hurt you.
And before we knew that, they were playing him like a clown. Like,
Yes,
like,
and they were
like
trying
a
to make
fun
him seem like
guy.
a good guy.
I was like, maybe
and then they
Bob.
revealed it late in the
Yes.
season, and I was just like, what are we doing here?
Why did you make
Bob
us
is a-
kind of like
care and
likable?
invest in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was just some dangerous show making right there, and I was really glad for her that she was then able to sort of recapture the narrative and just say, no, this man actually hurt me very badly, and I'm not going to reconcile with him. And I think she's picking something. I agree with you, actually. I think that she's picking something safe. He can't hurt her.
No.
He needs her because he needs emotional connection, and she needs him because she needs emotional connection. But she doesn't have to do any of the real messy work of relationships, of like being together and negotiating the various things that we negotiate in our relationships.
So they can just kind of fantasize about their
Yes, they
destination
get to-
wedding and about
yeah.
his man cave.
And his man cave and all of the sex that they're going to have. They can talk about it because they don't even have a release date. So it's a never-ending story.
Now, did Nene have relationship with him? Does anyone think?
No.
I didn't mean
no.
relationship.
I think Nene's been in the game for a long time, and I think hustlers know hustlers.
I like that.
What are your thoughts on Nene?
I like Nene. I think she steps in it quite a lot. I think that
I would say so last week.
yeah, I think she tokenizes gay people in ways that make me uncomfortable. But I think all of those women do it. And like, here's my gay, and like, they're not your. It's not like here's your pocketbook, but
Yeah.
that's actually a human being who is gay, but he's not your gay, and he's not an accessory. But they all do it. And actually, when I say they all, I mean all of the housewives across all of the franchises. And it's weird because Bravo is run by a gay man. And
Well,
so
he is called.
it's
Andy
odd.
has called them out on that on Reunion or Watch What Happens
Yes.
Live. He has said like I am not an accessory, and
Yes,
he
but
has-
the thing is, I like Andy Cohen,
yeah.
but he says that, but then continues to promote and produce these TV shows that do the very thing that he's calling them out on and making a fortune while doing so. And so it's hard to take him seriously because he doesn't suggest to the producers of the various franchises to give gay people a better edit. And an edit that shows them with depth as more than the Kiki friend or
Well, they
the
certainly
party
tried
planner.
to show Bob with depth.
Yes, exactly. Because
In
they
a way
see
that even with the women-
heterosexual men as human, and they see gay men as accessories. And it's just there's so much that's problematic with these franchises, and that I think is one of the key things. And so, whenever Nene says something that is homophobic or transphobic, and I don't think she is doing it with bad intentions. I think it's genuinely from ignorance. It's frustrating, but I think she's been through a lot. I think she's a survivor. I think she's hilarious.
do you think she loves Greg?
Yes.
And do you think Greg is dying?
I love that that's followed by a
he
laugh.
looks unwell this season.
He does look unwell. I do think he's sick. I think
Yeah.
he has some sort of heart issues.
I love
Greg.
I mean, the life
love
expectancy
Greg.
for Black men is not great. And, he's getting older. He's older than Nene. But I do think there's genuine love between them.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And
But I wish she
hope
wouldn't have he's like ill in bed and she's like, let's have a white party. And I was
Yeah.
like, Nene, no,
Like-
he's ill.
Like, if by
Leave him
white party you mean you
alone.
put on a nurse's outfit and nurse him, sure. Yeah.
Like, let the man live.
But I think when I saw that episode, I was like, huh. But then I also think she was just trying to like keep things normal for him.
keep things light.
I think she was worried. I do think that they love each other.
And by keeping things normal, it's putting herself first. And it would be
Yes.
weird if she wasn't.
Correct. She's a selfish person.
I love
and
Nene
Greg likes
despite
that.
all. I at least she entertains me.
She's very entertaining, which
She's
can't be said
so
for all of
funny.
them.
Yeah.
Like, I know she's not a professional stand-up, even though she is being paid as one recently.
Yes, she is.
But no one has better quips than her.
No, she's just sharp
Yeah.
and she's smart. I do think she's genuinely smart, which I appreciate. And
Phaedra always really would make me. Now this is before, of course.
Phaedra.
R.I.P.
Two-faced Phaedra. Mm-mm.
You didn't like her? Did you like her at one
I
time?
don't dislike her. I just see her for who she's edited to be.
Did you always see that? Or
Yeah, I did.
You
Even
did.
with the
Well,
mortuary
because-
business and
Yes, because I distrust that excessive Southern charm. Like, I'm a lady. And then she wears like a see-through bodysuit. I'm like, we must understand the term lady differently. I don't judge it, but I just think maybe words have meaning, and sometimes people use words and don't know what the meaning
Yeah, her
of those
bathing
words
suits were
are.
always spectacular.
Yes, they were. I think she's fabulous.
Yeah, but it was shocking.
I don't understand the pretense. And then there's two sides to her. Like, I'm gonna go meet with this congresswoman and do this important work, which is great. And then
or the camp.
yes, and then I'm gonna talk some shit.
Yeah.
And create some real trouble.
And not just talk some shit. Create something that is an assassination of character and
Correct.
so
Oof.
dangerous to put
Yeah.
out that is shocking.
Yes.
Because Candy is a real talent and a real businesswoman.
Yes.
Has a real career.
With a real career.
The only person in the franchise who has actual talent.
Yeah, and
Yes.
more houses than anyone. Some of them right next to each other.
Yes. And I think the women resent Candy for that.
100%.
Because Escape was a real thing. And then the little resurgence. And she can sing. And
a songwriter, prolific
she's
songwriter.
actually a better songwriter
She don't
than
want
singer.
no scrubs. No.
Not one.
Not one.
Not a one.
Nope. Mm-mm. And so it's a lot. And her restaurant's doing very well.
I've been to it. It's delicious.
I believe it.
I really,
Her
April and I
mama's
went this
very
summer and I
interesting.
had a delicious.
Mama Joyce has jumped the shark.
Mama Joyce.
But I love how shady Mama Joyce is.
Oh,
and I
God.
respect older people who have no fucks left to give.
None.
Who are just like, I'm going to do me. Okay.
Why does Mama Joyce like Portia? She's like, I'm gonna hang that one on Phaedra. She has a soft
No, I think
spot
she
for
likes
Portia.
Portia because Portia's a blank canvas onto whom you can project whatever. There's nothing, there's no there. And so you can decide that Portia, maybe.
A friend of mine said,
because I put a lot on Portia.
Yeah.
A friend of mine said the most, I thought, astute thing about Portia that I've ever heard. She said on this podcast, my friend Joey said,
What about what Roxane just said?
oh, well, no, that as well. I'm saying another astute
Thank
thing.
you.
Sorry, Roxanne, no disrespect.
I didn't take any disrespect there.
But another thing she said was that I believe that when Portia closes her eyes, she thinks the world is over. And then when she opens her eyes, it starts again. Like she doesn't have any perspective outside herself. Like when she shuts down.
I think that's very accurate. And she's very interesting to me. And again, I also think she's one of those women who's had dealt with some very hard things. Her marriage to Cordell was a difficult one. And I think Cordell was abusive in some really pernicious ways. And so I give her also a lot of leeway because of that, because I think that's a lot to overcome. And I do think she too is guarded and perhaps keeping some of whatever depth may be there. Like to herself, but not a lot. She doesn't
generous.
seem terribly bright. She just doesn't
But
seem
she is
terribly
funny.
bright.
And I always feel like if someone is funny, they have to have intelligence.
She's funny and she's charming. I mean, she's innocuous. There's nothing, she's not too harmful.
What about Kenya? What do you think of Kenya?
Oh, Kenya.
See, I like Kenya, and I'm just gonna put that out there.
I don't dislike Kenya. But I have a lot of empathy. I mean, one of the things that the show does, I think, is show the challenges that Black women of a certain age face when it comes to looking for and finding companionship. And Kenya is thirsty, as the kids would say. And
she has a little Sheena Marie in her in terms
oh, she absolutely does.
yeah, sure.
Absolutely. She is like Kenya, Sheena Marie Shea, whatever Kenya's last name is. Moore. Thank you.
Kenya Moore. More hair care. Even on this week's episode, it was all over the place. More hair
manner.
care.
Yes.
More manner.
She was helping women that have been in abusive relationships, and everyone was wearing a Kenya Moore hair care T-shirt.
Well, that's, I mean, that would help me.
So
what can provide more help?
I mean, I think a T-shirt goes a very long way
Yeah,
in
Kenya
helping
Moore
women
hair
overcome
care.
their struggles. You know, Kenya is just too thirsty, but it's okay. I think we all have things that we're desperate for. I just thought the whole husband thing was weird this season. Like, I'm not going to show you Mark.
He was on this week's episode. He finally
Yes.
appeared. He has a nose ring, which is very interesting for a
grown-ass man.
grown man
and a
in
grown-ass
there.
businessman. Sir,
I find
what?
him attractive.
He's very
Yes,
attractive.
he is attractive.
He's good looking, pretty, if you will. Like he's got but the nose ring was shot. Like I don't know what it said. It was just sort of shocking to me in a way that like it was unexpected.
I would not have pegged her to be with a man with a nose ring.
Yeah.
She gives like more of a brawny, unpierced vibe, at least above the neck.
See, what I feel with this happened with Vicky on OC, and it's happened with Kenya, which is like they want this love so badly, and then when it comes to them, the man is like making them choose, like, you want to be famous or you want to be with me, and it's literally splitting them. It's like Sophie's choice for these women,
and it's a very difficult choice. I think we see this with a lot of the franchises and a lot of the women. The fame, well, the pseudo fame that comes with being on a reality show like this is very attractive, and you get to go and do appearances here and there, and people recognize you. And the Bravo money is not, NBC money, but it is NBC money. That was a terrible
But NBC
example.
Universal money,
Yes.
not NBC.
It's not like it's not main
Cable
network
money,
money, but it's cable money. And I think that it's very addictive. And that's why, for example, Kim Zolciak came back.
Yeah.
The paycheck is good.
and Croy's.
Unemployed.
Yes, he is.
And he's never going to get back in the NFL.
And will remain so.
Yes. It's a permanent condition.
Is he even commentating?
No.
No one's asked. No one's
because
called for that.
He's not smart enough
No.
to commentate.
He's driving Kim everywhere and waiting
Yes, he
for her
is,
in the
and he's a
parking lot.
very good driver. He's a very good driver, and he's a very good maker of children.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, they have so many.
I
I've lost
mean,
count.
She's like 97 and still having children. More power to her. More power to her and her womb. It is very impressive. Why do they must love kids.
They do, but there's not.
I
I
am
worry about
excited
their
for
finances.
this reunion to see Nene and Kim. That's an old school. That's like
from season
that's
1.
ancient.
Yes.
Yes. Also, speaking of Kim, why her lips?
They look insane, and she will not admit to having them done. She has said on TV that she got pregnant and then her lips just got bigger from pregnancy. Now, as two women that have been pregnant,
Yes.
They do get a little bigger. And Beyonce had said the same thing. And hers seemed real. Kim's are.
Yeah, Beyonce seemed real. Kim's look artificial.
They
They
look
have the look
insane.
of someone who's had fillers
And what's
and
Brielle?
injections.
How's Brielle getting these lips?
Exactly. They go to the same doctor. That's how.
And they're trying to make Ariana in their image.
Yes. Oh, it's so
Poor
sad.
Ariana.
Poor
And they're
Ariana.
trying so hard.
She's
to
the
make,
only one with a chance.
They're trying so hard to make Brielle something, but like Brielle is the child of a reality star participant. Like, I mean, it's just D-list.
Yeah, there's no Bella
reserved.
Hadid in
No.
her.
Oh no. Oh, speaking
I
of,
don't even think Bella Hadid's a thing.
No, Bella's trying hard to be Gigi.
I know.
And what's her
Anwar?
name? Lisa Rinna's kids are trying hard to be Bella and Gigi.
And
It's
Lisa's
so
trying hard
great.
to be Yolanda.
Yes, she is. That whole little sub thread this season has been divine.
Oh, I know.
Like the little, she's walking in a Tommy Hilfiger show. And I'm just like, girl, nobody wears Tommy Hilfiger.
But then
anymore.
there's Camille.
Right? Like, what is
Well,
happening?
then we go even lower, which is Camille and her daughter walking in that show.
Yeah.
Though no one had ever
Mason.
heard of. That was tough.
I like Camille. Wow. I know. I like Camille.
San.
Because,
And you had judgment over my Dorit?
well, yes, because Camille is a classy lady.
Interesting.
Wow.
But the thing I like about Camille is she's just like so above it all this season. She's just like, I don't have to get in the fray. I just get to sort of sit on the mountaintop and offer my judgments and have this sort of classic. And I was married to Frasier.
Yeah. There's that Frasier money.
That Frasier money is real
Frasier
good.
money is good.
It's so good.
Now, here's my thing about Camille is constantly seeing, we saw a little more of Camille this season, but I feel like Camille is good for lately is like an entrance of like, Camille's here. And then we don't see her.
Oh, and offering
rest of the
comment on
episode.
Dorit and Dorit's never ending talking.
Yes.
Yes. And also this week it was great when Lisa was still talking so much about Dorit's tardiness.
Yes.
Which is offensive.
It is. But then
Very
on
offensive.
But then
It's
on
unacceptable.
Atlanta, Kim
Candy waited for 2
hours. And it was
Kim.
no big thing.
No, that's because she was being paid and she had something, she had probably had thoughts in her mind and her phone to occupy herself.
Candy waited
with.
2 hours? That's crazy.
And then when Kim came,
I
she
don't
was
like to wait
"Hey."
15 minutes.
neither.
Though I will say when I've had to interview celebrities, you wait as long as you wait. Madonna showed up 90 minutes late.
But she's Madonna, not Kim Zolciak.
I mean, right? Like, it is a matter of scale.
I
the
mean,
most
I'll wait for
famous woman
Madonna.
musician in the history
Yeah.
of time,
Now,
or
speaking of
Kim
famous-
Zolciak, who tardy for the party.
Exactly.
Well, I guess, yeah, that is her song.
She does have
She's
a
true
little
to her.
career.
Yeah, she
Speaking
does.
of famous female.
Oh my God, you're right.
singers.
I just see where you went there. She is tardy for the party.
Well, I'm going to go one step further, which
Okay.
is that you've tweeted very actively about a controversial topic that's
Yes.
in the news, which I'm putting in quotes in the fake news right now, which is about who bit Beyonce.
What do you
Gwyneth
think?
Paltrow.
You think it was Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yes.
No!
Miss Goop
Absolutely.
herself?
That's a Goop thing. And the reason I think it, I actually, thank you. It's the best guess. And I actually have a really good sort of evidence to support my claim.
Okay, let's hear it.
I saw this video, like this, it wasn't TMZ, but it was like on Twitter, of Gwyneth backstage, and I think she was with Kim Kardashian, while Jay-Z and Kanye were performing N-Words in Paris. And Gwyneth was singing along. Oops. Oops.
Interesting.
And I've never forgotten that little, it was like a 30-second clip, and she was just like really into it. And I was like, girl, don't you do it.
Don't
She
do
did
it.
She did it. And I've been on Twitter a long time. So I'm just, any sort of detritus that just flows into the dregs of Twitter, I'm right there to catch it. And so that's like, for me, it's a very easy jump from that to biting Beyonce, like that sort of unnecessary and inappropriate familiarity.
I'll say she just interviewed Oprah for her podcast, and I felt there was too much familiarity. And I almost rarely do I see, because maybe it's because Oprah normally is inviting people on her show for Super Soul Sunday, but I felt a wall between her and Oprah, where Oprah was kind of like, "You'll come here, but you're not going to come here."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I think Gwyneth thinks of herself as the white Oprah with the Goop.
Really? Okay.
Yes, with the Goop empire.
Yeah.
And I'm going to like give you all these bullshit sort of sketchy medical products to improve your life.
Steaming your vagina?
I mean, it's just like profoundly unhealthy stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff that no one should ever use
Yeah,
or
your
try.
vagina self-steams. It's
yes,
good.
it's all fine.
It's
just
steamy.
let nature just steam it all out.
yeah, it's all steamed already. It's nice
good to
and
go.
steamy.
It does
Quite
not
steamy.
need anything else. It is a
You don't need
self-contained
to
organism.
pop it in the microwave.
No, it's happy. It doesn't need a pressure cooker. Just let it be. Just let it be, like the song says. And so, you know, I could see, again, Gwyneth being overly familiar and thinking that she and Oprah are kind of like peers. Like, nobody's Oprah's peer except Beyonce.
Gail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, Gail, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But also Beyonce.
Yeah.
Amen.
Wow, that was a
Gwyneth
guess I
Pal- that's a
didn't
guess.
see coming.
Oh, really? Who did you guys
No.
think bit by Beyonce?
You thought it was...
Sanaa Lathan. But that's a tired theory, I'm sure.
The thing about Sanaa Lathan, it's an interesting guess. And when I read her response, I thought, because she said, I didn't bite Beyonce, but if I did, it would be a bite of love. And I was just like, who would...
It's like when OJ wrote that book,
It-
like, I
'cause
didn't kill Nicole, but if I
It
did.
did,
Oh!
exactly. When she said that, I just thought, oh, so it's a possibility? Because every other celebrity that responded was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, on a lighter note, speaking of Vicky Gumbelson, though.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Now, Brooks has gotten married.
Oh.
Yes, Brooks got married to another woman this week.
As you called him,
Which-
the Dirty John.
The Dirty John.
Brooks. Dirty
Brooks
Brooks.
was always very sleazy, though.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
he's like he was just like what was that character that was like, I don't want to say like Foghorn Leghorn. It's who Brooks was. It was like, I say.
He's
Like,
taken another victim. And the
Yes.
poor woman's like smiling so wide in their Instagram. It's
yeah, so that will not come to a good end, I believe.
I mean,
Of course not.
let's do a little pool. How long are you giving that marriage?
A year.
I'm giving it 9. I'm giving it 9 months.
9 months.
13 months.
Okay. This is on the record.
On the
Because
record.
they come
Dear
in and they go
editor,
out.
keep this part in.
Now, will you just run us through quickly, and we don't want to take much more of your time, just the reality shows, just rattle off some that you're into, because you've said there's an extensive list.
Below Deck Mediterranean. Après Ski. The Real Housewives of Potomac, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, The Real Housewives of Dallas.
Leanne.
Survivor, Top Chef, Chopped, beat Bobby Flay. I'm not proud. I'm not proud. The Bachelor. Really every show on Bravo. Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Love and Hip Hop Hollywood.
Wow.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Black Ink Crew. Black Ink Crew Chicago.
I know Black Ink Crew.
It's very, very bad. Wives and Girlfriends.
Oh, Wags.
Yes. Basketball Wives. Basketball Wives LA.
I loved Basketball Wives.
Me too.
LA.
Oh my God.
Me too.
There are some nutty ones on that show. Let me think. What
Married
else?
to Medicine?
No.
Okay.
I've seen episodes. If it's on and I'm in a hotel on a business trip, I will watch. But I don't get it.
You won't look away.
No, I won't. Not at all. But I just don't get it. I'm just like, there's no there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in all of those
In
women.
someone married to medicine.
Yeah. And Dr. Heavenly and
And some of them are in medicine and not
yeah,
married
some of them
to
are
medicine.
doctors and
Yeah.
some of them are married to doctors.
And
it's just
I need something a little more organized.
And some of them show up on Atlanta, I believe. Like one of the doctors has also been
I think
on
Dr.
it.
Heavenly does some crossover, or it might be the other one, Quan. No.
Yeah, do you mess around with any of the sister wives?
Oh, well.
Have you seen Seeking Sister Wife?
Oh, yes. See, again, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever the genre,
Okay.
I'm there for
Okay.
I used to watch Sister Wives regularly, but
Okay.
Cody's haircut started to upset me. I like Mary.
You're saying haircut as though he's cut it.
No, you're right. Hairstyle.
Yes, thank you.
You're right. Language
Sorry to
matters.
correct you.
I can be corrected. Hairstyle. It was upsetting, and I like Mary. And I think that Mary's just gotten I think she married this guy, and then he was like, I would like several wives. And she was just like, and then I don't know. And then the fourth wife upsets me. She seems like a nice young woman,
Robin.
but yes.
See, I love Janelle, the blonde.
I like Janelle too.
there's
She's
two blondes.
interesting and she's feisty. There are two.
Yes.
Cody has a type. Until Robin. Robin is atypical.
His type was young with Robin.
Yes, absolutely. And so it's not that interesting. And then I watched an episode a few weeks ago because my mom watches it and then gives me little updates. And then I'm like, oh, let me go check in. And they were talking about how they're being oppressed as polygamists.
Oh, God.
And they went on a little march. And they were so passionate. And I was just like, have you guys looked into what's going on in terms of race and homosexuality and trans rights?
There's
and
some real
stuff
marches
like that?
going
Yeah.
on.
But they
And
genuinely
also, one of their
believe
daughters
this.
has come out.
Yes, and they support her because they know what it's like to be oppressed because of polygamy. So I think however you get to the promised land is fine.
Okay.
And I was interested in that. Seeking Sister Wife.
Yeah.
That's an intriguing show. The black couple.
Well, yes.
There's a lot there.
A lot to unpack.
When
with
he
that.
basically cheated on his
Yes!
wife and then was like,
It was the finest
"Oops."
3 lines of television. She's like, how was it? And then testimonial, she's like, we agreed. The only thing we wouldn't do is that he wouldn't sleep with anyone until we were completely committed. The next one, he's like, I slept with her.
Yeah. Reader, I fucked her.
And the wife in testimonial was just like,
and then like the one woman, the last episode I saw, the woman they were talking to has like 5 kids.
yes.
I was just like, what? I mean, that's not that she has 5 kids, but that they were like, let's bring this in and like then have 8.
When it seemed like ultimately kind of what they wanted was like a nanny.
That's what it felt like to me. She
I
just
feel
wanted
that-
someone to
yes.
help her take care of the kids,
Absolutely.
which I get.
I do get that. And I think that's why most of the sister wives appreciate each other. Because when the mean one from the white couple, when she and the husband went away for their anniversary and she
Julia
left her kids.
Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes. And then the kids had a little problem. One of the kids had to be rushed to the hospital. And she's like, oh, thank God the backup wives are there.
Even
I get
though
that.
they hate me.
Yes. And
That woman is unhinged.
oh, she is unhinged. She doesn't want to be in a plural marriage situation. And
They're
that's-
all moving. And she's like, can I stay here? I mean, that's unheard
Yeah.
of for a plural marriage.
I actually know polyamorous people. I have no problem with it. I don't personally have the capacity for it. I am way too much of a jealous person. But I admire people that can do that and have the patience. Also don't have time or energy. I literally can only handle one relationship right now because I have too much going on. So I admire people that can do that. But a lot of the women on this show and these shows on TLC don't seem super into it. And that's upsetting.
Yeah.
And the women don't have the relationships I think they thought they would have.
Correct. A lot of it feels like bait and switch. I think it's one thing to go into a relationship, and that's what I like about polyamory, is that people are all open. Like I don't do monogamy. I'm going to want to see multiple people. I encourage you to see multiple people. I appreciate that honesty. Like say what you want up front. I think anytime in a relationship you state what you want up front, anything goes if everyone's consenting and on board. And some of these women seem like they were involved in a bait and switch. And I think that's why the first wives in all of these situations seem a little angry.
Yeah.
And just like there are other men, there are other mediocre men in the world.
There's a whole world of them.
Well, and that's the piece of it that's so upsetting. It's the actual men.
I have yet to
They're
see a
Brad
man
Pitt.
on this show that's not mediocre. And I'm not even talking about aesthetically, because whatever floats your boat, do you. But just like career-wise, personality-wise, they don't seem adept at sex.
But again, in
Bad
all of
decor.
these shows and all the housewives, I've never seen such loser men in my entire.
It's shocking.
And these are dynamic women. Love them or hate them, they are dynamic.
They are very dynamic. The camera eats them up.
And so for them to be with these drips.
Well,
of
those
men.
shows, and I guess Real Housewives is like this, but those shows like The Sister Wives, there is something so, I think a lot of reality, it's like, it's so grotesque in a way that you're like, I'm drawn to it of like, what? These women
I just
are all
watch it and just
sharing-
think, couldn't be me.
Yeah.
I love watching it for
But
that.
then
I
I'm like
agree.
voyeuristically kind of into it.
Well, you even said that in one of your quotes.
This one. From Bad Feminist, you say, if reality TV has any connection to actual reality, it's that women are often called upon to perform their gender, whether through how they present themselves and their sexuality, how they behave, and how they conform or don't to society's expectations of women. Wow, preach. I like that you gave your own, you're like,
I did. I was just like,
were you hearing it anew?
I like that essay.
It is, well, it's
a great
amazing.
essay.
My essays in Bad Feminist are imperfect, but I'm still proud of them years later. Even though the book was published 3 years ago, many of those essays are like 6 or 7 years old. And it's when I was first starting out writing nonfiction, and I was just trying. And when I reread those essays, I'm like, whatever the flaws are, there was still something here.
Oh, I'll
and
say.
I really, especially with that essay, I liked what I had to say about the performances that women are expected to give. And it's exhausting. And you see women perform these things a lot on reality television. It's like the simulacrum. And it's very interesting to see women performing what they think they should be doing as women. And it becomes very distorted at times. And in these situations where we have multiple marriages to one mediocre man, I can't say that enough. It's very tragic. It's very tragic.
Yeah. Well, we will wrap up with you, but I do want to just read a couple more of your quotes that are so wonderful to share with listeners who may not have,
Stumbled upon your work.
Yes,
yet. I'm sure some of them have, but for those who haven't, you guys, you have to read some of these brilliant books. We love them, and we think you will too.
This is also Bad Feminist. Because I have so many deeply held opinions about gender equality, I feel a lot of pressure to live up to certain ideals. I'm supposed to be a good feminist who's having it all, doing it all. Really, though, I'm a woman in her 30s struggling to accept herself and her credit score. For so long, I told myself I was not this woman, utterly human and flawed. I worked overtime to be anything but this woman, and it was exhausting and unsustainable, and even harder than simply embracing who I am. I love that so much.
That's from Bad Feminist, the title essay.
It's so unbelievable.
Oh, thank you.
Like holding that up is, I mean.
This is when I loved, and I'm a writer as well. I just write like sitcoms, though, so it's not the same thing.
Oh, just sitcoms. No big deal.
You know what I mean? Like nothing like.
I just write sitcoms.
But
you're a great
this
writer,
spoke to
Danielle.
me in such a way, and I think even if you're not a writer, this speaks to you, which is I don't care if my fiction is labeled as women's fiction. I know what my writing is and isn't. Someone else's arbitrary designation can't change that. I don't care if men don't read my books. Don't get me wrong. I want men to read my books. I want everyone to read my books, but I'm not going to desperately pine for readers who aren't interested in what I'm writing. If readers discount certain as unworthy of their attention, if readers are going to judge a book by its cover or feel excluded by a certain kind of book because the cover is, say, pink, the failure is with the reader, not the writer. To read narrowly and shallowly is to read from a place of ignorance, and women writers can't fix that ignorance no matter what kind of books we write or how the books are marketed.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Whoever wrote that is
She's unbelievable.
mighty talented.
Okay, we're going to embarrass you with one last quote.
Okay.
And this is actually, if we could just briefly touch on your work about the body, because I read Hunger this summer. I was in Hawaii. Don't be jealous, everyone. No, and I read it, and it was like raining, and I picked it up, and I literally read it in 18 hours. And I have a child. I was like, get over there. I'm
like,
reading
sorry,
this.
little baby.
Sorry, you're good.
Wait, do you only have one child?
2.
Oh, okay.
But this is when I had 1. Mm-hmm. And I was so unbelievably moved and angered. It brought up rage that I have about how people, perceive women's bodies and what I've gone through. And yet, I don't know. I will just briefly share, and I haven't even talked about this in the podcast, but I was on Saturday Night Live for 2 years, and when I was fired, I was kind of like...
They fired you?
Well, yeah.
You're very funny.
God bless you.
That's horrible.
She sure is.
Thank you. I prefer not...
I am boycotting them for at least
a week.
3 weeks.
I couldn't even boycott them. 6 years later,
I'm actually very upset
I'm
now.
like, what's Kate McKinnon up to? She's so funny. I'll tell you, so I prefer not asked back. And so I was like, okay, I'm okay with it. But then someone wrote this news article that said I was fired for being fat. And it was like on the CNN ticker, like actress fired for being fat. And then SNL called me and they said, this isn't true. You must release a statement that that's not why we fired you.
Oh, you fired me. I must not release shit.
But
wait, did they really ask you to release a statement after they fired you?
I don't have a publicist. I have no one. I'm like, well, I guess I do. And basically what the statement is essentially saying is like, they didn't fire me because I was fat because I wasn't funny. Like it was all just like so horrifying.
If that ever happens again, just call me.
I will.
I will release a statement. Fuck you.
I tried to do this like joke statement where I was like, I wasn't fired because I was fat. I was fired because, and this is so sad, I said because I was PHAT. Guys, it was all I could come up with in a moment's notice.
Please, the fact that you
and then I
that.
said, can I get a what? So I was like, I'm not going to make this a serious statement.
Right.
All this is to say, reading your book, that was such a kind of, and I know so many more traumatizing things have happened, but in terms of just the public kind of shaming of like, your body, and anyone goes through it. So I just wanted to read a quote from.
Okay.
And this is actually from a piece you did in The Guardian.
Oh, yeah, that was an excerpt of Hunger. Go ahead.
I guess. When you're overweight, people project assumed narratives onto your body, and they're not interested in the truth. Fat, much like skin color, is something you cannot hide, no matter how dark the clothing you wear or how diligently you avoid horizontal stripes. You may become very adept at playing the role of wallflower. You may learn how to be the life of the party so that people are too busy laughing at or with you to focus on the elephant in the room. Will you read the last part, Roxane? Let's get you reading here.
Okay.
Right, starting regardless.
Oh. Regardless of what you do, your body is subject to commentary when you gain weight, lose weight, or maintain your unacceptable weight. People are quick to offer you statistics and information about the dangers of obesity, as if you are not only fat, but also delusional about the realities of your body. This commentary is often couched as concern. They forget that you are a person. You are your body, nothing more, and your body should damn well become less.
Wow. Look, do I have to comment on the fact that we have a podcast in which we discuss women?
Yeah. We do. We sure do.
No.
We sure do.
But it's so funny. I actually think the Housewives, to what your point about like women we're all trying to carry something that maybe we're not. There is something very refreshing about the housewives. They're fucking living out loud.
Yeah.
They are. And I mean, I think it's a performance.
Yes.
It's a loud performance, but
I'd rather see loud women, though.
oh,
honestly.
absolutely. The thing I like, one of the many things I like, and people don't take the housewives seriously and it's trash television, blah, blah, blah. And it is. But it's also one of the few genres where women can be open and loud and messy and are rewarded for it. When normally women are supposed to be dainty and polite and demure.
These are women where the youngest woman is 42.
That's another thing that doesn't get talked about enough, even though they are medically enhanced, which I do not judge. I would do, if I had that kind of looks, I would do whatever it takes to preserve it because I understand that beauty is currency. But they are older women, and the New York women are practically geriatric. And that's a compliment.
Yes.
That's actually a compliment.
And I'm following their every move.
Absolutely.
Move.
Oh my God. And
they're
we haven't even
sexualized.
gotten into the skinny girl alcohol.
But I love how
There's no
I
alcohol.
like how
No.
they're not likable. As writers who write television, we're like, this character needs to be likable. Why do we like this person? I don't want to have to like
I'm writing
someone.
a pilot right now, and I'm just like, what the note was? How can we make her relatable? And I'm
Exactly.
like, that's not the goal.
And the fact that she's not is why she's
correct.
relatable.
I don't relate to any of the housewives, but
I only relate to
watch
when
them.
women
I don't need to relate
screaming.
to them at
No,
all.
kidding.
And do people?
But it's fascinating to
like,
watch.
And it's interesting the leeway that men get for being unlikable and relatable. Oh, I can totally relate to Tony Soprano or Walter White.
No, you can't.
Really? Can you? Are you going
Don
to
Draper.
commit murder?
You wish.
Because he's handsome.
Yeah, so handsome.
I'm like, who cares what he did?
And like women are always expected to be relatable, and these women are super unrelatable. The Housewives of New Jersey, come on, they're all just very kooky and very out there and very
Horrors.
gaudy, and they dress in interesting and unique ways.
They're in costumes. Like,
Absolutely,
They live in costumes.
and they're profoundly acquired tastes, and it's just deeply disturbing. I don't know. Sometimes I get recognized in my building.
Oh, I believe it.
And it's funny. Today I ordered Postmates, and the Postmate driver was, I love your work. And I was like, oh my God, and now you know what I'm having for lunch. Great. Anyway, I agree. It's great to see older women, and the only thing I wish that the shows did was body diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear that.
we mentioned that before. There's literally never been.
Nope, not one.
So funny. Well, I don't want
Have
to
you guys
call
seen
someone
Real
out.
Housewives of London?
Oh, you mean
Ladies of London?
Ladies of
Ladies of
London?
London,
Oh, I
yeah.
love
Of
Ladies
course.
of
And
London.
also Real Housewives of Melbourne, which I watched in
We
Australia.
heard that you've been quoting, and people have been telling us to watch that. I always thought that the foreign housewives were like under a different banner. I always call them airport KFC because like there's the regular KFC is delicious, and then you go to the airport,
Yeah,
it's like
it's
just
just
a
different.
little different.
It's just different. Like,
you're saying-
maybe they use different chicken?
yeah, exactly. So that's what I was like. Is that what Melbourne is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Airport KFC.
Absolutely. Okay, that girl keeps walking back and forth. Okay, I'll give her whatever she
Maybe
wants.
she knows me. Roxane.
You know what? She actually probably does.
No, I'm
you
kidding,
were
I'm
on Saturday Night Live.
Well, 2
But,
seasons.
yeah,
season and a half.
Where we? Oh, like Portia seems to be the only woman who's a little rounder on the Real Housewives, and she's even very petite.
Well, I was going to say Portia. Yeah.
Who were you going to say?
Well, no one.
Yeah,
No
I mean
one.
that's the thing. You literally can't pick one out, and so I would just love to see. I don't want to say normal because I think whatever body a woman is in is normal.
Although part of me's like, do I want to see that in the same way when
Ira?
Ira.
Keep
he
it.
said
I love him.
he said why I don't want to see Oprah run is because I don't need to see Oprah drag through that muck and mire because I don't want that for her. He's like, she's given us enough, and now we don't need to take her legacy where it will
Yes.
have to go based on the political
Especially
tensions
given
right
who
now.
she'd be running against.
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah.
And part of me is like, oh God, would I want to see a woman like go on there? And,
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the
But they're all
reasons I
torn
don't do
apart for
TV as
everything.
much as I should. It's so difficult to do TV as a fat woman. It's like the most painful experiences I've had in my career have been because of TV. And not because of the hosts. They're generally wonderful. But people, and actually the meanest commenters watch PBS.
Really?
Yes, and that's why I don't go on PBS anymore for their news show. Yes, it's shocking. There's a TV show that's going to be profiling me on PBS, and I'm dreading it. One woman emailed me and said, you should let someone else do your makeup because they fucked up your face, and I wasn't wearing any makeup.
Why do they say it? That I mean, again,
it was.
We don't
I
need
cried
to hear
for
it.
like 3 hours.
That's what I say. It's like
I
say
was
what
just
you
like,
want about me. Don't
so hurtful.
Don't say
Don't
it to
say
my
it to me.
face.
She emailed me and she thought she was like giving
They
me
think
a
they're
helpful
helping.
tip as if I don't have mirrors. And I sometimes it comes and goes, but sometimes I get these darker patches on my face. It's actually a symptom of PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I was just like, it's just my face. So it's really hard. And I can't imagine what a larger woman would have to deal with. I agree. Like, ooh, it's
it
not
would
safe.
just be so cheap and easy when these women are in these blind rages with their rampant alcoholism.
Anytime I see like a slightly bigger woman on reality TV, I always cringe. And I always cringe when people are mean to me because I always think that's going to be the first insult because it's the easiest and
That's
most
what I mean.
accessible.
It'll be the first thing out of their mouth. And I'm like, I don't know if I
could
want
see,
that for
like,
anyone.
Especially like those New York housewives. Oh, I could see them going real dirty. I don't think the Atlanta housewives would get into it as much. And if they did it, I don't think they would be like malicious. I don't know why. It would just be like,
I know.
Girl, get your fat ass out of my face.
Yeah.
And they would be moving on. But I think in most of the other franchises, those women would be cutting. And I don't think the Beverly Hills women would do it. Because one thing about
They've
LA...
had a woman with no leg, but not a woman who is
right?
bigger.
So true. It's true though. That was actually a step in a good direction.
Yeah.
And then she's not there anymore.
Well, that's because she threw the leg, and it felt very false to falsely throw your leg in a way.
Yes,
that
I have yet to meet someone who would throw their prosthetic like that.
Yeah, it rang fake.
Yes,
It rang
I thought it was amazing.
You really are trying to get some extra camera time.
Yeah.
I mean,
It rang.
throw the leg.
And actually, the people that don't last on the show are the people that do desperate things for camera time. And Portia. I mean, not Portia. I didn't mean Portia. I meant Phaedra. Phaedra is the one who's, I think, is a little rounder. Not Portia. Portia's
I was like, I think Portia.
No, Portia's a very thin woman. I meant Phaedra.
I was like, I guess we're all...
Frickin' frack. I confused them.
Frickin' frack, yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting. It's just, there's so much. Like, I don't know why people don't take these shows seriously.
Well, we do.
Everything is...
What are they missing?
Obviously.
They're missing so much.
Missing a lot. Roxane Gay, thank you so much for doing this podcast. This was a Twitter connection, and I thank our fans for...
Well, thank you. This has been delightful. I would do this again, just FYI.
Oh.
If you would ever like me to come on again.
But don't tempt us.
I'm not tempting you. I'm genuine. And anyone who knows me will tell you I do not ask for interviews or podcasts because I get too many requests. I would do this again in a minute.
Oh, you're so
you.
sweet.
It's delightful.
You.
I love talking about reality television, and people always ask me like super deep, profound questions that make me have to hurt my head. And I'm just like, guys, can't we just talk about normal stuff? Yeah. I'm not as smart as you. No, I am as smart as you think I am, but I don't want to talk about these things.
Yeah. You said a couple things. I was like, what's happening? I don't understand.
But for our listeners, please get Roxane Gay's books.
Yes.
They
please do.
incredible.
Start with Bad Feminist, finish with Hunger. It's so unbelievable. And
Difficult Women.
And you're also funny as hell.
An Untamed State. I am very funny.
Yes, you're hilarious.
A lot of times people ask me when I'm going to do stand-up, and I'm like, when people are less fucking mean about fatness, that's the fuck when I'm going to do stand-up. Have you been to stand-up?
Yeah, if anything would be worse than reality television.
It would be a nightmare.
Well, I mean, if Needy can't take it, what are the rest of us supposed to do?
Yeah. Stand-up. I have a good friend of mine, a new friend of mine who I like very much, and I hope is someday a good friend. Amy Silverberg is a comedian and a writer, and I went to one of her shows once, and she was great. But one of the artists, the last guy, he was very, very bad, and he started getting heckled, and deservedly so. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, ooh, couldn't be me. That's painful. It's brutal. And he just got very angry and was attacking, and so we all, everyone, I would say, 3/4 of the audience just walked out of the show. It was hilarious. It was at a place called Sal's, and in the back room, and it was just very interesting. And so
I would have been the last man standing, clapping. I do feel too deeply that type of thing. And I will end this on this note. If you feel anything about this interview, anything, don't you dare tag us in it, and don't you dare tag anyone that you heard about on this interview.
Oh, good one.
Know better.
Yeah.
Do better. Thank you, Roxane.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Roxane.
guys. It's been a real pleasure.
This has been an Earwolf production.